I sort of went through in our statement of facts, which I think many of you have in front of you, goes through things including text messages, emails, contemporaneous phone records, multiple witnesses. All of that will be, as you saw in the fall, borne out in a public courtroom in downtown Manhattan.
Yeah, right. Charge that needed 20 cases before we gave the release from your office. Also mentions an overturning total amount of warrants. Can you comment on how those figures were made and charges you brought on the case overall?
I'm glad you put your finger on that, because it's not just about one payment. It is 34 business records, 34 false statements in business records that were concealing criminal conduct. The earlier question about New York State election law, I talked about conspiracy to promote a candidacy by unlawful means. Those unlawful means, we allege, include the conduct set forth in the statement of facts, which is additional false statements separate apart from the charged ones in AMI documents, planned false statements to tasking authorities. It is not just that one $130,000 wire payment. Thanks so much.
Okay, so hearing from District Attorney Brad there, also answering some questions from reporters as well on the charges. As I mentioned, we continue to get these different live looks, and you saw one of them in the top right-hand corner of your screen from Mar-a-Lago, a live look of the podium, some people already there in preparation of Trump speaking later this evening, scheduled for 8:15 Eastern time. Of course, we'll be bringing you all this coverage live, raw, and unfiltered. In the meantime, here's another live look from Palm Beach International Airport as we wait for the Trump plane to touch down from New York. So we'll continue to be bringing you all of these feeds, live news and updates, live, raw, and unfiltered in real time, as we always do here on Live Now from Fox. We are going to take another commercial break here. We'll see you right back in just a few minutes. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Lexi Petrovich. Thanks for being with us on this historic day as Donald Trump formally became the first former president charged with a crime today. 34 counts of falsifying business records in which he pleaded not guilty. I want to walk you through some video that we've been getting here throughout the course of all of this. Sorry for the sound there as we just fixed that. But this was from earlier as he was leaving Trump Tower. Of course, that's where he spent the night last night before heading into the courthouse this morning. You can see through this gold door here, that's where he walks out and gives a fist, waves to some folks here. You can see him pretty up close there from this video. We also have some overhead aerials from earlier today as well. This was from him arriving at the courthouse. You can see a lot of Secret Service surrounding him. Of course, we know that security has been heightened throughout all of this, both for Trump and just for the city of New York. So many officers, so many security, Secret Service members also there for extra security purposes. So a lot of heightened security throughout all of this. We also have some video we want to show you. This was of him entering the hallway, coming into the courtroom. You can see him dressed in his red tie as well, and he then went into the courtroom where he was with his legal team. No cameras were allowed in the courtroom, but we did get these images of him in which you could see him there again, the former president pleading not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records, which comes after an investigation into a potential hush money payment to an adult film actress during his 2016 campaign. So no video cameras were allowed during this, but we do have these still images to show you. And again, this is so historic because he is the first former president in American history to be criminally prosecuted. Also have some video of him leaving the courtroom as well. So we've been able to kind of cover this from every different angle here, while also giving all of these live looks and feeds as well. And speaking of live looks, I want to show you some of the ones that we are following right now. First, a live look from Palm Beach International Airport, where we're expecting Trump and his plane to be returning here shortly after leaving New York, after being in court earlier this morning. We still also have a live look outside of the courthouse as well from a couple of different angles. You can see here the number of people also outside in Manhattan, including media and also other people, supporters, and those who are against the former president. A live look as well from Mar-a-Lago here in one angle, but also another angle from inside of this ballroom here in Palm Beach, where Trump is expected to speak later this evening at 8:15 Eastern time. So we'll be bringing you all of that coverage live, raw, and unfiltered. I want to bring you this conversation here between Live Now's Andy Mack and a reporter in Florida, in Mar-a-Lago, talking more about what we can expect after his arrival.
Coverage here on Live Now from Fox, and bring in Patrick Perez down there at Palm Beach International Airport, where Trump, the former president, expected to land. Patrick, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. Give us a little bit of your perspective. We saw Trump leave yesterday. He's arriving again today. What's your perspective on things right now?
Yeah, so the moment we're expecting his plane to arrive here, perhaps around 7:30, that's because it takes about 3 hours to get from LaGuardia to Palm Beach International Airport, and he left New York just before 4:30 this afternoon, so that kind of lines up with that timing. Here at the scene, though, we have seen what appears to have been the formation of his motorcade. You can actually see some of the SUVs that remain at the moment here. Those are right there, some supporters of this that have been hanging out here by this kind of makeshift entrance, if you will, of the airport. And just a few minutes ago, we also saw what appeared to be some black SUVs that are typically seen as part of this caravan kind of move to that space there on the tarmac. So we're expecting the plane to land sometime between 7 and 7:30 here. Again, he left yesterday from Palm Beach International, stayed in New York, and then waited for that court arraignment this afternoon, and he immediately hopped into his SUV and headed to the airport LaGuardia, and then hopped on a plane where, again, he's headed this way and should arrive in just a few hours. But that's kind of like the scene here. Again, we have had some supporters show up in the past, maybe 30, 45 minutes or so. They've left the area for the moment. It looks like maybe they're trying to find some better location. We're trying to find out to see if maybe there's a reason why they've left. Perhaps they know something more that we can. But that's what it looks like here so far.
Thank you so much. I do have to ask you a question because you mentioned the supporters as well. When he left there in Mar-a-Lago yesterday, there were quite a few. Are we expecting the same kind of reception, knowing that he now has been arraigned, he now faces those 34 felony counts, and does that bolster the support or has it diminished their support?
I think we're going to see probably even more than what we saw just yesterday. So in my reporting last night, this morning here for Fox 25, I've been talking about the fact that the supporters kind of cleared out just at the same time that he boarded that plane to New York, but we are expecting him to return not only to the airport here, awaiting his arrival, but also close to Mar-a-Lago. There's a road that leads into Mar-a-Lago that we're used to seeing his supporters line up with signs, chanting and stuff like that to show the former president that they have his back. They haven't been there since yesterday afternoon or even this morning. But again, we're expecting them to show back up to that area and here at the airport in anticipation of his arrival and that speech that is scheduled for 8:15 later tonight.
All right, yeah, I'm going to put up that image one more time of Mar-a-Lago as Patrick is at the airport. This is where former President Trump expected to speak tonight. We've seen Mar-a-Lago quite a bit in the news the last little bit. I want to get your perspective because you're potentially there covering as the FBI raided this for those classified documents. Can you kind of compare and contrast the support for former President Trump during both of these occasions, that raid by the FBI and also now during this most recent indictment?
So I can only talk about at least specifically the indictment here and what that's kind of been looking like here because I wasn't here for the raid, I should say. But for the past maybe week and a half or so, when the news came down that there was this potential indictment, I mean, his supporters really took over the area surrounding Mar-a-Lago because they were angry. We've heard multiple sound bites from them expressing how they feel like this is a witch hunt. And so they've been out there. And then, of course, when we found out that the indictment was official, they were out there as well and will likely, like I mentioned, and be back out there this afternoon and tonight, waiting to see the former president himself make his way through the area, through his motorcade, and then anticipate what he's going to say during that speech.
All right. Patrick Perez, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. We appreciate your perspective. President Trump expecting to land at Palm Beach International in the coming hours. Thanks again.
Okay, so we're continuing to monitor that feed from Palm Beach International Airport as we await his arrival, and we'll continue to check in with our reporters as well who are all over the country covering this, specifically in Mar-a-Lago and in New York. We want to bring you out now to our live coverage from our team at Fox 5 New York, who's done an outstanding job reporting on this and everything that has developed in recent days. And so they have reporters on the ground throughout New York City. Let's bring you some of their coverage now as they're live on the air.
A former president, now a criminal defendant. Donald Trump pleading not guilty to 34 felony counts.
Under New York State law, it is a felony to falsify business records with intent to defraud and intent to conceal another crime.
This is Fox 5 continuing coverage of the Trump arraignment.
A historic day in Lower Manhattan. Donald Trump formally becoming the first former president charged with a crime. He pleaded not guilty